So still a lot of great things to come on FishTalk in the next year. And man, it's been such an incredible journey when we started out 6 years ago. Oh,
6 years! Happy birthday to you!
Oh, Vibez.live.
To you!
Hey, my boy, how's it, man? Welcome.
Congratulations!
So, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
6 long years.
6
or
years.
Short ones.
Well, you know what? It's been short and it's been long. It was short during the COVID because everybody wanted. Actually, it was long during the COVID because everybody wanted to go fishing. But it's been a journey, and I mean, you've been a part of this journey as well, man.
Well, congratulations. You have to blow that out.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go.
So maklik. Well, we are visiting John in his studio.
Hello, everyone.
Now, John is FishTalk, is Vibez.live. He's a guy who makes very pretty baits for bass.
I try.
He's a finesse bass fisherman, and he's a good friend of ours. And here on Vibez.live, we are talking to him, and we're going to talk about your show.
So, you know, I've always had a passion for angling. I started off angling when I was a youngster. You know, it was my way of escaping the harsh realities. I mean, I think a lot of people use it to escape the harsh realities of life and what life throws at you. And, you know, I decided to combine my love for music and radio broadcasting, coming from a professional FM broadcasting experience, into my love for angling and combine the two. So we started off FishTalk as a show by anglers, for anglers, dedicated to anglers.
I like the for anglers part.
Yeah, we're on the same page with that. And yeah, celebrating 6 years. It's been an incredible journey. We've had some amazing guests. We've had some incredible experiences. Being a part of the Black Bass World Fishing Championships, you know, twice with the World Games, Fishing Games, you know, doing the live stream at the reception and so on in Sandton, flying off to Sierra Leone, you know, because one of our listeners invited us and paid for everything. I mean, it's been a journey.
On that, if you go to For Anglers, the website, and you search Sierra Leone, you will find his very expansive article that gives you everything you need to know if you want to go up north and fish those waters.
Yeah, it's called My Barefoot Adventure. Yeah, so it was absolutely amazing.
You can also look for barefoot.
Yeah. So it's been an experience. It's been a journey, and it's been tough sometimes, you know, because.
What are the tough parts? What are the lowlights of this 6 years?
I think the difficult part is, you know, we try and keep our content fresh, relevant, and, you know, what is happening in the fishing industry, you know, whether it's angling results from tournaments or whether it's new developments in technology and so on. And we try and keep it as fresh as possible. But, you know, life happens. And we do understand that there are certain times during a month or a specific part of the week where regular contributors cannot contribute. So you always have to have backstops. You always have to make sure that when your show goes out, you've got between 5 and 6 relevant interviews that makes it entertaining and informative.
With the challenges that we have in the country, how low is the low when you've got to cancel a show due to some external factor?
Oh, yeah, okay. Are we talking about load shedding? Load shedding, water shedding, internet shedding. You see, these thankfully, load shedding doesn't, you know.
Not anymore.
Not with us, because we're totally off the grid. But, you know, with internet, you know, when a cable in the sea goes down, I don't know why, then it does affect it, because obviously Vibez.live, the sister station, although the main station, is actually internet dependent. Yeah. So the beauty of it as well is I can take it anywhere in the world as long as I've got a good internet connection. But yeah, those are the challenges. But when that sort of thing arises, I always make sure that we've got in our archive, because, you know, Vanna, we've done over 1,400 interviews. Okay, wow. I think I had a last look. I have done interviews with this man over here. I think I've done about 29 interviews with you alone. And some of those interviews are very, how can I say, generic. Yeah. Okay, it's the basics of carp angling, the basics of approaching Loskop Dam for those muddies that you love so much. And I basically then use some of the interviews from those archives, okay, to put a comprehensive recap show together. So whether our listeners are based in South Africa or in Europe or the USA or wherever on the globe, there is still pertinent information, whether it's local angling conditions or with our overseas correspondents.
What are the few, maybe 2 or 3 highlights out of this last 6 years? What made you the most excited?
Look, I'll be honest with you. It was the first time that South Africa was to be hosting the Black Bass World Fishing Championships. Now, you know that I've also written comprehensively about my love of bass fishing and so on. And
me and you have never ever gone on a bass fishing trip.
No, we haven't.
That's a low light.
Yeah, okay.
Next year, that's going to be a highlight.
We got to remedy that. The beauty was when we got approached and said, listen, you guys are role players and you are a voice for bass angling in South Africa. We'd like you to help us host the Black Bass Fishing World Championships. I mean, you know, doing the voiceover, and this is what I do, once again, combining my love of, you know, radio and voiceovers and everything else. Doing the voiceover for the official video for the Black Bass World Fishing Championships was, it was a surreal experience, you know, sitting around the dinner table with the likes of Scott Martin, you know, our friends from Croatia. Yeah, Fred, you know, and David Dudley and all of these. It was a surreal experience, you know. And then obviously, you know, with the World Fishing Games, the highlight there was of course being at Sandton with a big opening ceremony, seeing all the countries with their flags. And you know, a lot of people might think that fishing is not as big as it is. Maybe not in South Africa, but on the world stage out there, and you and I have traveled extensively.
Yep.
It is massive. It is massive out there.
No, it is.
And I think those are probably 2 of my highlights, but one specific highlight stands out for me, and it's a moment I'll never forget. It was during lockdown when somebody went and the world lost its mind. We were all in lockdown, nobody could go fishing, nobody could do anything, and we got word that angling might open up for our local community. And we were sitting in the studio, this was still in our old studio, and we were sitting there waiting, and I got that phone call coming through, and I said, right, I'm going to put you on hold. That was with Andres Pereira. So I'm going to put you on hold, and we went live with that interview during that FishTalk show. And we literally crashed our South African and international server based in Canada.
Wow.
With the influx of listeners, that there was somewhere in the region of 28,000 listeners in South Africa that tried to tune in literally at the same time on our website.
Wow.
So it just crashed everything.
Well,
And
isn't that a great testimony for our South African anglers? Then?
It's absolutely brilliant. You know, we started the radio station on a little budget and a whim and a wish to do something different, to go back to radio when you and I used to listen to radio. Remember the days of Springbok Radio, you know?
LM.
LM Radio. Goeie ou dae van radio, you know? When radio was fun to listen to, when the music was good and that kind of stuff. And you know,
but music is still good in terms of what
course,
you're playing.
of course, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
That's our format. We music that matters, music that makes sense, you know. And this is what it's about.
In your show, did you ever, or what is the most interesting personalities that you had in the studio that you went either, wow, this was great, or should I have?
No, I can't say, you know, should I have or something like that, because it's difficult. Look, each and every single interview, even a second interview or a third interview with somebody like you, has a different approach, because I think the most important thing about being an interviewer, okay, is to actually make your interviewee comfortable with which way you are going to take the conversation. Then you don't make mistakes, you know, then there's no room for error. But I've had some challenges. I've had some challenges. You know, I've had a challenge where, and I'm not going to mention any names, where I do a telephonic interview with somebody and I'm sitting here literally going, because it's just going on and on and on. And then I've had other interviews where I've spoken to a guy, Ross Myers. Ross Myers is now a new correspondent This guy is based out in the Florida Panhandle in the USA. I mean, he goes and fishes the way you and I would go carp or bass fishing. This is how he goes and fishes for snakehead and paku and you know, peacock bass.
All those extreme species.
Man, absolutely amazing. And you know, when I chatted to him for the first time, I thought, I'm going to have to do some editing on the interview because of the great time difference between South Africa and there. And literally, I recorded the interview, and it was as if him and I were sitting in the studio having a conversation. One thing just led to another. And you find sometimes some people, when it comes to interviews, are actually very natural. And that is a help. But yeah, there's been a couple of challenges.
Okay, so you were saying the interviewer must get the interviewee comfortable.
Yes.
So let me make you a little bit uncomfortable. What was the most embarrassing moment in your studio?
No, I don't know. The most embarrassing moment? In the radio or on FishTalk?
Doesn't matter. Now let's stick to FishTalk.
Okay, so here's the most embarrassing moment. There was a correspondent, okay, based over in Italy that I needed to speak to, and this was just after the Black Bass World Fishing Championships. Got the telephone number, everything else. So what I did is, and I like to see myself as professional, I phoned him up, made the time. Okay, this guy's got an incredibly busy schedule. So we got everything sorted out, made the time, made the phone call on WhatsApp, phoned him, did the whole interview and everything, recorded it onto my computer as a WAV file. Okay, and said thank you very much. He was heading out, you know, somewhere else in the world to go fishing. And I had already advertised and promoted that this man was going to be on the show. So, finished the phone call, went onto the computer,
Nothing.
And instead of hitting save, for some stupid reason, I hit delete selection. And there was no way to get a hold of him. And then when I finally did get a hold of him, a couple of weeks later, he was not very, very happy with the fact that we had wasted...
That you lost his interview.
Exactly.
Isn't it like a line breaker? When you like have a big fish on, you play it for like half an hour, and you already imagine how you're going to hold it for the camera. Ding!
Yeah, that is like, yeah.
You've already celebrated.
Yep, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But look, we try and get over those challenges, and we, you know, sometimes, especially with somebody like that, a high-profile angler, then it's a question of humble pie, you know. Technology is not infallible, but when you include your brain is too busy together with clickety click and technology, things do happen.
Then you say, I am John from Vibez.live, and I am sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
What attributes of anglers leaves you in awe? You've dealt with so many anglers. What are those things about anglers that you say, that's an angler?
I don't think it's about that's an angler. I think, you know, and I keep saying this, Vanna, you and I have discussed this, and your viewers and my listeners will know. This is my, I'd say, my code for FishTalk. You know, you and I and people of our age have had hundreds, sometimes thousands of hours of experience next to the water. You know, being an angler takes dedication, it takes discipline, okay? It takes respect for nature, respect for other human beings, respect for yourself. And I've always felt that one of the most important things that we can do is to impart that love of angling to a younger generation. Because let's face it, you know, you don't have the same discipline that you and I had in school. You don't have those kind of things that's, you know, instilled in you. And I think angling is a very, very beautiful way of installing values and instilling values into a human. And therefore, I can't say, you know, that makes an angler a really good angler, that makes an angler a really good angler, because you've got guys, sorry to interrupt, you've got guys that are multifaceted, like you.
Yeah.
Okay? You multifaceted, I'm multifaceted. But I can't hold a candle to you when it comes to certain aspects, and the same as, you know,
the other way around.
The other way around, yeah.
But do you think that anglers have to be just a little bit crazy? Do you think that?
Yeah, he knows where I'm going to go with this question. Yes, because you would work 5 days a week from 4 a.m. to midnight and get up and do it again and again and again. And on a Saturday morning, you'll get up at 2 o'clock because no gaan ons visvang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to...
There's got to be a little bit of a little hint of madness. There's got to be a little bit of
And you've met some of these mad guys.
Yeah. We've met some interesting people, and you know, we've seen some interesting things out on the water, especially with fishing tournaments and so on. But
John, last question. It is now into March, April, close to April. Just one or two little hints on bass fishing. For the guys out there, if they want to go and catch the last few bass before the winter hits, what's the pattern? What would you throw? Just two or three.
Look, you know, there's a lot of people that will say, look, let's face it, and you'll see it in nature as well, you know, your game and all that kind of stuff. They'll feed up now because they know the colder months are coming. The funny thing is, here in South Africa, especially this year in particular, we've had a very, very hot and humid, you know, summer, an extremely hot and humid summer. And you know, as soon as we start having temperatures cooling down just by 2 or 3 degrees, you know, your average daytime temperatures, the fish are going to be out there and they're going to be eating. So there's two schools of thought, okay? One school of thought is, if you're going to throw plastics or baits or whatever for bass, throw the bigger ones now. Because the bigger ones are going to be coming in. They know that cold months are coming. They need to feed up. But I also, you know me as a finesse angler, I'll always also say, hey, you know what? Maybe throwing something a little bit smaller or something like that is going to trigger a bite because there's no effort in catching something small in the water. Colors, I reckon, will be natural, you know, all your natural colors. As we get more towards the middle of April, going towards the end of April, then you can start going with outlandish colors. You know, you can start going with your pinks and your whites and, you know, your blue shaded colors and that kind of stuff. And, you know, this is also a beautiful time of the year where top water, there's just something about a bass exploding, you know.
Something else.
So frogs, bats, birds, you know, poppers. This time of the year is absolutely beautiful because you have those beautiful late summer afternoons where the water looks like a mirror. You can see little dimples, and as the sun is setting, you pop it out there and poop, poop, and the water just explodes. So
how many times have you struck because you see the bite and it wasn't taken yet?
Yeah, too many times. You see the explosion and everything, and you know, I think it's very difficult because it's pure adrenaline.
Yes.
We know it. Whether you suddenly hook a marlin on a deep sea boat, or you suddenly hook a carp of a lifetime, or specimen angling, or with feeder, it's all the same adrenaline. But when you see that explosion, you know, that a bass just
and
bouncing
you don't
on
wait
it,
for the bite,
and you don't wait to feel that pressure before setting the hook.
And that frog comes past your head.
I had it at Ristevinta. I was on the boat with our mutual weather guru, Raf Scremen, and I'd thrown a popper the whole time. Nothing happened. I put on a beautiful Spro frog, threw it a couple of times. Nothing was happening, and I literally turned around, and the frog was still sitting on the surface. I turned around and looked at Raf, and his eyes went like this, and this monster came out and literally came out of the water, jumped into the air, and came down on top of the popper. And yeah, well, you know.
And you took it out.
There was no. Unfortunately, it was right here at the tip of the rod, so there was no tension or anything like that. Boom! And yeah, that was incidentally a birthday Spro frog that I got to us. So very sad.
Well, John, thanks a lot. Thank you for your time, and good luck with your station. We're also almost 6, so from 4 Anglers, we're also established in.
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come throw a party at his place.
Well, let me leave you to get back to your work.
But before you go, I just want to say to you and your community, the broadcast partners, you're one of our broadcast partners, you know, and to the angling public in general, you know, there's not many platforms in this country that give you the content that you enjoy, the content that you like, this thing called fishing that we're all so passionate about. And I'm gonna speak on your behalf as well. I'm gonna say thank you to each and every single one of you for supporting platforms like FishTalk and Vibez.live and for anglers. Because without your support, people like us would just be fishing. We wouldn't be doing what we love and combining it with fishing.
Well, that's it. Let's bring fishing closer to you and enjoy every moment. And now, me and John are going to enjoy a piece of cake.
Off camera.
Cheers.
Bye.